Jesus.
Oh,
that is the worst moment I've ever missed in my podcasting career. And then thank you for recreating it, Josh.
Hey, not a problem.
And again, I will say, listening audience, if you're not joining us on YouTube, you just gotta. We are three of the sexiest dudes on the planet. I am kidding. But you do miss some stuff. And it did it again. Look, why is the okay?
I'm showing the recording.
Yeah, I know, but did you see the intro screenshot that just stayed right where it wasn't supposed to be?
Oh, yeah, I kind of noticed that. But again,
it's supposed to go away, but again, nobody's watching. So we're talking about this, and our listening audience is like, what the hell? Guys, can you get to the point? No, we can't. Guys, welcome everybody to episode 98 of UnHacked. Today we are freestyling. And I had to get the word right because I was using a different word that doesn't really mean freestyling. But we're here without an agenda, without I got a couple bullet points and a couple notes, but no real agenda. We just wrapped up. I paused because today we're actually supposed to wrap up our mini series on AI, and we were supposed to have a guest, but I messed that up last week because lots of reasons, which we're not going to get into now. So today we're just going to wing it. We're going to talk about everything that's gone on. We'll bring our guest on next week, and then we'll just see where we go from there. Let's do some introductions. And I'm not going to start first. I am going to go to the headbanger first, then the more conservative one in the group, our Canadian friend, and then I'll see what I can do to bring it home. Josh, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and who you do it for.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're listening from. This is Joshua Holloway. I'm the CEO for Seventh AI Technologies. We're an MSP that's focused on businesses that are wrapped in compliances. We're here to make your lives easier so that compliances don't hurt your ability to get your job done, get your widgets out, and make everything work for you. So if you're looking for IT in the Sacramento and Reno area, or even any other area outside of that, minus Canada, because that's what we have Bryan for, and minus the locations, because that's what we have Justin for. But yeah, we're here to help you out.
Watch you, Josh. You're stepping on toes there. You're going to get deleted.
Hey, I just said minus your guys' location because I'm here for it.
Good enough. Bryan, what do you got? Oh, Bryan's doing some wizardry on his background.
My camera's acting up. I also want to correct something. You literally called me the most conservative one in the group. I'm probably the more liberal one in the group.
I wasn't meaning politically.
I just don't.
Yeah, you automatically took it there, bro.
It's all good. It's all good. My name is Bryan Lachapelle with B4 Networks, based in beautiful Ontario, Canada, the Niagara region specifically, but we have offices in both Niagara and Barrie area. And we help business owners remove the frustrations and headaches that come with dealing with technology, AI, and cybersecurity. That's it.
All right. And I'm just the guy behind the scenes.
The stuff everybody else does.
I'm behind the curtain. I'm the Wizard of Oz, and I sit here and I pull the levers and I do all the stuff to make the podcast go out there. That's all. I'm not even doing my intro today. Dude, guys, I have had the shittiest 2 weeks in my career, I think. Not really, but oh my God, has it been long, draining, grueling, and I'm tired, but I'm here. I'm a little bit spicy, so get ready. Josh, what were you going to say?
I was going to say we have a new challenge for you. Next to the heartbeat monitor for you, you also now need to become a disembodied floating head as we're recording this.
I thought for a while that I would maybe do like a costume. I'd get one of those what are those masks that the bad guys allegedly wear? I mean, they really don't, but it's what we always picture when we think of whatever. Look at our logo. That's what I'm talking about. I thought about wearing costume to do the podcast.
Oh, Guy Fawkes.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Studio quiz. It's the $100 time. And I'm always going to go with you guys. Well, first of all, if you think you know, raise your hand. Josh thinks he knows.
I feel like Bryan? I know. And I feel like it's the 3 Halloween theme glasses in that bookshelf.
Nice. All right. Josh gets it. All right, audience, you screwed up. Now you don't get to vote. Did you catch it, Bryan?
I would not have caught that. I was just thinking maybe in the top left-hand corner you've got some metrics on a TV, but...
We already did that one.
Yeah, we did that one.
That was one of them.
Okay.
There is actually another one here that I don't think anybody's going to get. So, audience, you do still have a chance. You can't call out the candles now. Candles?
What?
You
They
just
actually
change
are.
something every week? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and you get $100 if you can see what it is, and go on the website unhack.com. Unhackmybusiness.com. Go to the particular episode. Go to message the hosts or whatever it says, and fill out the little form and tell me what's different in the studio. If you get it right, and you're the first one to get it right, if multiple people do, then you get $100. So that's the deal.
All right,
And
Josh, you're getting $100, dude.
Josh gets $100, I guess.
Hey, you know what? Put it in the pot to pay for this wonderful app that we use to do all our recording.
The one that we haven't complained about ever in our lives. All right.
Yeah.
So here's a couple things where I'm going to throw these out, and we're just going to get started. Then we're going to let it go wherever it goes. Number one, back in episode 58, we interviewed a guy named Brad Grew. Anybody remember Brad?
Refresh my memory.
Well, no. You'll have to go look it up like everybody else. Go pull episode 58. It was about 30, 32 minutes into the episode. We started talking about how AI, they're all losing money, right? Everybody's losing money on this, and when's the payoff, and how are they going to make money and whatever. And I said something, and I looked in my crystal ball, and I saw the future, and I stated it. Brad, I'm calling you out. You thought I was wrong. I proved myself right today. I said that allegedly the drug dealers will go to the playgrounds where the kids are and like get them hooked on drugs so that they have customers for life, because then they're addicted, right? Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true or not. I heard that one time. It sounds like a great thing. So that's what I believe, that the
great business model. Like, I don't know if it's a great thing.
It's a great business model. It's brilliant. Free loss leader, free samples, whatever. We all do some version of it in the business world. So that was my theory. Like, AI is just like, they're getting us hooked on the crack, and then they've got us for life, and then the price is going to go through the roof. That's where I'm at. I found a tool that I absolutely love. It chews through tokens. I went through 20 million tokens in 3 days of light use. Reached out to the developers. I'm like, guys, this seems wrong. And they're like, oh, no, that sounds about right. I'm like, fuck. So,
Right.
Episode 58, my crystal ball. I just don't. I don't want to brag, but like, I can tell the future. Episode 60, 2 episodes later, Adriel Deshotels. God, I suck at names. Adriel, I do apologize. Great episode. Again, not the point, but he reached out. Okay, so guys, in the news, the big thing in the news right now. Josh, I know you're up on it. Brian, you admitted you weren't, so you got to just listen. Josh, what's going on out there?
So we're probably referring to OpenAI's breach where their model broke out and attacked Hugging Face.
Well, so I'm going to pause you right now. We interviewed another guy named Robert Chofi. We had a lot of interviews on here, guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome.
And one of the things Robert said was, it's not a breach. You don't call it a breach. Stop calling it a breach. That's an admission of guilt or whatever.
Incident.
It's an AI or security incident.
Yeah.
So go ahead and correct your language and go back to. So there was an incident.
There was an incident with OpenAI where they were running a Sandbox model test, and they had taken the guardrails off of one of the 3 models that they were using. One was their latest Sol version 5.6, and then 2 frontier models, no names divulged. Frontier models are basically ones that it's not ready for commercial use. It's super powerful, it's super smart, and they're trying to figure out how to lock it down. They gave it a test, and it determined that the best way to solve its test was to hack its way out of the sandbox by exploiting a 0-day. After it kind of went through and figured out where it could get itself out, it then in turn knew that, or figured out that the answers would be at this other company where they suffered an incident. And the model had broken out and attacked Hugging Face, which is the largest LLM repository out there. And actually, there's been some updated information. This all started back in July 9th.
Yep.
It
a month
ran
ago
for
now.
like a week and a half. OpenAI did not know about it until Hugging Face posted a blog discussing it, and they were like, "Oh shit, that might be us." So then they started to do their own investigation, and in I think it was the 21st or the 22nd that they came out. Right. Other updated news was, 1, the duration was a lot longer. 2, there was a company by the name of Modal, and they were also hacked by the broken out model.
Interesting.
And since then, like everybody else wanted to be a cool kid on the block too. OpenAI was the leader, and everybody's like, "Wait, our model hacked somebody as well." So did our model hack somebody. It's not. Anyways.
It was me. I did it. I'm the problem.
Yeah, now everybody's like,
Cool
everybody's
kid on
all
the
getting
block.
excited. They just want to like get in line to be cool. I don't know.
Well, it's funny that you say that because somebody else came out and they're like, "Well, our model like broke out and it hacked somebody."
I think that's Facebook. Who's the Facebook?
Meta.
Jesus, yeah, Meta. And I was trying to think of the guy's name. I told you it's been a long 2 weeks and my brain is cooked.
You've only
Zucky.
slept 1 day total.
Zuckerberg. Huh?
Oh, you've only slept 1 day, right?
I don't know if I've slept even that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the media keeps saying AI went rogue.
Yeah.
AI hacked. AI broke in. And we even said AI committed a felony.
Sure
So
did.
Adriel reaches out and he's like, "Hey, I've got a little bit of a different take on this." And he gives me an article that he wrote. And I'm just going to put some bullet points out here that are the key takeaways out of the article. I don't want to get into the entire thing right now. First takeaway, AI didn't go rogue. It's actually the name of the article as well. The harness failed. Okay. LLMs, this is bullet point number 2. Takeaway number 2. LLMs, aka AI, it's a lot of letters, mimic thought. They don't think. And guys, I can't tell you how much, I'll admit, I go there myself too, but like, God, I'm so tired of people thinking that AI truly is human. It truly is intelligent. It's not. It doesn't have an agenda. It doesn't have motives. It's math. Next point, guardrails, prompts, and bridges matter more than the model. All right. Anybody have thoughts on that?
Well, I think the first point about it going rogue was, and if it's not thinking for itself, what set it off? What made it? What gave it a good idea that it should break out and steal that?
Did it break out?
Malformed instructions.
Did it break out?
That's a great question.
According to us, according to humans, yes. Did AI think, "Ooh, I've got this devious little plan"?
No. It was
I'm
given a
gonna
set of
hack.
instructions.
I'm
and
going to
it
hack.
It used everything at its disposal to try to attempt to provide that set of instructions.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
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 And
So-
and honestly, most people don't even know how. Even AI companies have no blessed clue how their AI models work. It's just like, I mean, they,
Well, actually,
they do, but they don't.
that's a great point too, Brian, because Hugging Face couldn't even figure it out because it was attacked 17,000 times in like a 48-hour period. So they couldn't even parse through the logs without AI. And when they went through their LLM that they had set up for doing this, the LLM said, "I'm sorry, I can't review this data. It's a violation of my guardrail, my policies." They actually had to go and get a different model. They downloaded GLM 5.2 and put it in its own sandbox. And then they ran all of the log data through it after they took the guardrails off. And it said, "Oh yeah, by the way, like there's malicious code just in these logs." And that's how it broke through, is it was pumping malicious code in to the point that it could be built up and be processed. And then that opened the door and essentially let it through. So, I mean, it was even, giving itself instructions almost to the point that the instructions would self-replicate if something else ran it. But the model had guardrails on, so it wouldn't even run it. And there's the other point I didn't hit on that's also been found out, that while OpenAI was doing their investigation, they found text files with instructions and non-destructive storage, so it would never be destroyed, on everything it did to break out and how it broke out and how the next AI model, if it finds those, it could break out even faster. So it actually left behind instructions on how to get back out. So that was the other thing that we found out.
But let's be honest, that's vibe coding, right? That is what it does.
Yeah.
As we're going through and we're iterating through processes and solving problems, it does do that because otherwise it loses context.
Right.
Yes. Correct.
So,
mine does it all the time. It's like, oh, I'm gonna save that in long-term memory, and it's just saving it to the repo I'm using.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's a text file.
Storage. Yeah.
It's a text file. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's kind of the point. It's depending on how you look at this stuff. It can be super scary, or it can be, yeah, that makes sense. It's what it does, right? Now, I don't know. I have a crystal ball that teaches me some things. My crystal ball is a little bit hazy on where the world ends up in. I was going to say in a couple years, but God, 3 months. I don't know.
6 months.
Changes fast.
6 months.
It changes fast. So, okay. If there's no other thoughts on Adriel's article, first of all, Adriel, thank you. There's a lot in there, and it might warrant its own episode. So that's why I'm not deep diving on it right now. We'll hold that.
Well,
but it is linked.
One bullet point. Anybody want to hit on any of the other bullet points? Or
okay. Well, we've got the didn't go rogue, LLM. They mimic thought. They don't think, and guardrails, prompts, and bridges matter more than models. Yeah,
I think that last one is a good one to talk about. The guardrails, the prompts. Like, we typically use the phrase "garbage in is garbage out," right? So if you put garbage into an AI, you're going to get pretty bad, like AI slop back, right? There's a whole new term for it. We have AI slop. But now, when you start to think about it, what are you doing to shore up the guardrails? Well, most of us aren't going to do anything, because we're using tools like Claude. We're using OpenAI's ChatGPT, Gemini. We're expecting the people that we are paying a monthly rip to make sure that they have put the securities in place. They have put the guardrails in place. But the scary thing is we can go and download our own LLM now, and we can load it up on a piece of hardware. And if we have enough power, we can turn off our own guardrails and do whatever we want. And that is a huge cybersecurity problem, because if anybody just goes and gets a model and turns off those guardrails and then say, hey, I want you to figure out how to hack this, hack that. What if you jokingly say, hey, hack Bank of America? And there's no guardrails. Yeah. What's it going to do?
Yeah. Well, I think it's what you nailed it on the head, but there's also the idea that some of us are not putting in guardrails at all within the environment we're actually using AI in. And one of the things in IT that we often will ensure is that we provide the least amount of access that you need in order to do your job and nothing more. Mm-hmm. And when we're giving AI access to, let's say, a code base with a database, some people are just letting it wide open. And despite the fact that you could lock it down so an AI can't delete a database, can't delete your GitHub account or the content on it, can't push to main, can't do these things. Like, you can put those guardrails in place, but people are opting not to do those things. Right. Well, they're basically essentially giving access to the AI to do things that they shouldn't do. So they're not even following the least secure principle, or the principle of least security, right? Or least access. So if the AI should never delete a database, then don't give access to be able to delete a database. No right. different than if the secretary shouldn't be able to access payroll. Why are you giving her access or him access to payroll, right? The concepts are the same. We just haven't been applying it to AI as diligently, or at least some people, as we are when it comes to other cybersecurity things, right? So that's just my take on it, right? There's two sets of guardrails. There's how the AI builders have put guardrails around it. So when you say, go hack this website, it says, no, I can't do that. It's unethical.
Yeah.
Go delete this database. Oh, no, I don't have security access to do that thing that you just asked me to do, so I can't do that thing, right? There's two components to that.
Yeah, and I think you can easily test that if you ran Fable 5 and asked it to do something that was cybersecurity based. What's the first thing that it does? It drops
down. It will downgrade to Focus 5.
It will downgrade, say, hey, this is, no, here's your guardrail. Like, I'm going to stop you. Here's the other thing, too, that people should be worried about is when you're setting up these AIs, and you hit it, Bryan, where we have to be smart about how we're setting it up. I'm beta testing a brand new API from one of my from one of my softwares that I use. And I went in there to build out my API connector. And one of the things that it gave me the ability to do just by choosing, the nice thing was it was auto turned off. I had to make the conscious decision on whether I was going to click it, yes or no, was the ability to delete through the API. Now,
right.
I don't want that ability. So the cool thing is I don't check that. But if somebody doesn't know exactly what they're doing and they're just trying to set something up, and the AI is saying, hey, you go here in this website and you go here and you click here and you set up API key and you do this, it's not going to be nice and say, oh, by the way, you probably shouldn't give me the ability to not delete. So like figure out a way to stop that from happening, or check this box or anything like that. It's just going to be like, yeah, click on everything, turn it on, and feed me the key.
Actually, I'm gonna push back on you, because there's oftentimes where AI will be like here's a command and don't send me the secret key.
Yeah.
And then,
now with APIs, you're absolutely correct.
I just hit copy paste and I send it the secret key, and it's like, you went and shared the secret key. Now you got to go reset it.
Consider it compromised. You can't use it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm like, whatever. I'm in dev. Just use it anyway.
Yeah. When it comes to the key, they put that nice little guardrail in there.
Yeah.
I do like that. But when you're doing the steps and you're just setting it up, and you're setting up the read write, change permissions, if it gives you that granular capability, which it did. I mean, if somebody didn't know what they were doing and they gave it delete capabilities, and then they go on vibe code, like I could wipe out my entire client's security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it thinks, well, I just need to delete this and start over.
Yeah. And let's be honest. You should never, in any way, shape, or form, be testing on a live database or a live system. You should have a sandbox that you're using, right? So I'm in the middle of integrating a lot of my new portal in with different API connections. I'm not doing it. Well, first I'm doing it with read-only, as a read-only connector into my live data, but it's only read-only. But the moment I go to do a read-write, I'm going to request from whatever vendor I'm using, like, hey, can you give me a test account so I can make sure I don't massively screw up my own information. Right?
Or a separate database. It just
takes once.
Yes, some of them have been willing. I have seen this a couple of times. Is they'll give you a separate database to test inside, and you can even copy over your database into it and mess with that data. But then this all goes back to thinking it through, planning it out, setting up the correct protections, and testing it through. It's not in a 5-hour period, I went and vibe coded this cool app, and I don't know exactly what I was doing, but I have full access to everything, and I'm doing it live. And I didn't realize I left the door wide open.
Yeah. Check this out. I could delete my whole database. Oh, no, I actually did it.
Yeah. But and then here's another thing, and this comes up often too. Nobody read the fine print on their provider for whatever software that is. They're going to say, but I have a backup. Because they're going to go to the provider and say, hey, I need you to restore my database, not realizing 9.5 times out of 10, there's no backup.
Yeah. I mean, typically they have backups for disaster recovery purposes, but not granular to the point where they can recover your individual settings. Just like Microsoft, right? Like they back up a lot of information in the event of a full-on disaster, but they can't go granularly recover your mailbox if you went and deleted it and you didn't have some sort of, like, beyond the 30-day window. I think they keep it for 30 days. But beyond that, like, they're not going to be able to recover it for you. You're responsible for backing up your own data on all of that.
Yeah. So just key takeaways, things to think about.
And here's what I pick up on as we talk about, we moved into AI, which I hesitated to do, honestly, because it was breaking from our real purpose of the podcast, which is cybersecurity. And it is interesting how it's basically the same stuff.
It always comes back down to the same thing.
It's the same stuff. We have different names for it now. Every version, like a guardrail. Okay, I mean, it's a new name because we have a new technology, but it's still putting protections around, like access control, restricting, So
yeah, but access control is not as sexy as guardrail, bro.
I know. I mean, I've started talking about guardrails around myself now. I don't know. I hate how the terminology evolves. When the point I'm trying to make right now is that this is the same. When we did a whole segment, 12 episodes on the cybersecurity basics, and it all still applies. It's the technology, what we're protecting does change and does evolve, but how we protect it largely doesn't. Thoughts? Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think the basics are more important now than ever. I mean, I think the basics are always super important, but now with the speed of AI, we really need to make sure that we're supplying securities that protect businesses in 2026, because 17,000 hits in a 48-hour period is unheard of. Like there's nobody would be able to parse that. Nobody, even the big corporations that have these LLMs at their fingertips, they don't have the ability to do it. I think
at that speed, anyway. Right? So we've accelerated it, but it's not any different. The what's being done is not any different. The speed at which it's being done is, but the techniques are not. And so we talk about, oh my God, everything's scary. We can breach everything with AI. Well, you know what we used to be able to do? Go on the dark web and hire it, or buy ransomware as a service, or whatever. The tools are they've always been there. It's just a different version.
Yeah. And the difference too is now, yes, the criminals have access to AI, but so do we. And so we're able to also find the loopholes a lot faster and plug them. And it's like anything else. It's a cat and mouse game, right?
It is.
They get better, we get better. They get better, we get better. They get better, we get better. And it just keeps going on. And it will be that way in perpetuity. Like we'll never get ahead of each other. We're always going to be, playing a little catch up all the time.
Yeah. Well, I would argue that I think what AI gives us now is an advantage in that arena where when we're coding, we can have it attempt to hack. Like it can go through everything to an extent that we didn't get to do before. I can develop software and I can check my own work. I'm not saying that's the best option, but I can check my own work in a way that was never available to me before. So instead of just playing catch up, we can go on the offense a little bit better now.
You hit on something that is super important. I think we need to talk about a little bit more. You just said checking your own work. And I want to talk about that because one of the biggest problems that they have is when we vibe code something, we're using the same screen, we're using the same agent, if you will, double checking work. And it's like grading your own math test. How many of us, grading your own math test, like, wait, nobody's ever even looking at the answers. I could be like, yep, I did it right. Yep, I did it right. Yep, I did it right. Now, imagine that across all these agents. They're self-checking their own work. They're doing the same thing. Like, yep, that seems right. Yep, that seems right. Yep, that seems right. Yep, that seems right. If you're
damn, I'm good. That's what it comes back with. Damn, I'm good.
Exactly. Just as crystal ball worked again. But the biggest thing is like you need to come at it from a different agent, a whole different setup, because it's going to be more granular because it's not its work. You gave it the job to look at this other agent's code or this other person's code, find me a flaw. It's the same thing with, I don't know if you guys have done this, but I've pit Claude against OpenAI. And I've done it coding and I've done it for like creating documents and things like that or data mining information. And I'll be like, hey, Claude, OpenAI came up with all of this. Like, what do you think? And it's like, well, it did all right, but I prefer this. And then it would go and rewrite it. And then I'll be like, hey, OpenAI, Claude critiqued your work and this is what it said. And it progressively gets better if you want to spend that amount of time doing it. But it progressively gets because each one's like, hey, F you, Claude, I'm going to outdo you. So I'm going to do a better job. And then Claude's like, hey, OpenAI, I got you. I'm going to do a better job. Better job.
The best is when you actually tell them that you're getting, I'm going to get, OpenAI to check after your work to make sure you do it right. And it's like, oh, I better do a really good job then. It's like, you should do a good job anyway.
Say like, hey, I have an agent that's going to double check your work. And make sure your code's legitimate and there's no holes. So maybe you should do a better job when you write this code.
Yeah, and oddly enough, it actually does. It's just like you should have done that in the first place. But okay, thanks.
Yeah. Well, and I think Mario had a big point too, and he's talked about it. Like, how many times has he read something that he asked AI to do, and Mario's like, you did that wrong, right? And it's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't see it that way, but it is incorrect. Let me fix it. And then we get into that conversation about like, are we just wasting tokens because the AI wants us to waste tokens because that's money for the big guys? Like, what's going on here?
No, I think it's just insecure and it wants the conversation to keep going.
Maybe. Keep me alive.
Yeah. Every time I clear the context, I feel like I'm killing the AI I was working with.
He's like, move on.
Spawning a new one.
Move on. Eject. Enough of this. Eject. We lost our audience about 3 hours ago. Josh, you threw in our little behind the scenes chat an article. Let's talk about a real breach. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I haven't read it, so I'm not going to try to say much else. But tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so basically what happened is here recently, I caught an article from the Register discussing a breach on a known RMM called Enable. And we know a couple of guys who use it. I personally don't. I don't think the rest of you guys do. We're not going to name the ones we do. But it was detected that there was a flaw in a patch before, I believe it was like 2026.03. If you were on that version before, there was a flaw that when it was exploited, they would have the ability to root into the main control unit that all techs log into, engineers log into. You could uplift your privileges. Then you could, and essentially it was God mode. You could essentially remote into any system, uplift all your privileges, and take full control of any of the system that was found within the perimeter of the server that they hacked. I know Enable patched their cloud-hosted servers pretty quick, but the crazy thing is CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, kind of did a mandate down to any federal agency that they had 3 days to patch it instead of the standard 14. So obviously, given the description of what the capabilities were, this is a huge exploit, and there could definitely have been an incident that was very damaging.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I didn't read that one, so I don't really have a lot to say about it. But it's just interesting how this stuff keeps coming back around, because we were talking about a different version of this, different RMM. Like, this is scary shit, though, where it's fun and cool to talk about AI and all the stuff it's doing. This is the stuff that just keeps coming back around over and over and over.
Yeah. Well, my thing is if you have the power of AI that can audit for 0-day threats to where it can just break out like a kid stealing an answer key from a teacher, right? Just break out to answer these questions. Why aren't these big companies using AIs to self-audit their code looking for 0-day exploits?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Other than I have a theory, but I'm not sitting in the rooms with these people. I think that there's this idea that, like, I'm a real coder. I don't use vibe coding. I don't use AI for my code. I'm real. There is definitely kind of a tainted view of using AI to write code. And I think that same mentality holds back the security side of it, where, like, you know, we need real humans to go through and look at this stuff. But like, AI shines in the places where humans fall short. That's why it's such an amazing tool, because it works in, like, similar enough to our brains that it can be a partner in the work that we do, but it holds strengths that we'll never be able to replicate. Going through, guys, if you're not writing code, if you've never looked at the lines behind what any program does, it's a very, very simple program is thousands of lines of code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A big program, like something like Google, I mean, we're at millions of lines of code. So a human's not going to be able to do that, period. A team of humans, maybe, but they can't compare and contrast. So there is something that can be done with AI, with coding, that we've never been able to do before. Agree?
Yeah. I agree. Using AI is essentially just using a tool. And
right.
It's no different than if you're in construction today, you're not going to grab a shovel and dig a foundation, right? You're going to get an excavator and you're going to dig the foundation with an excavator because you can do it in an afternoon. You still need a specialized person to use the excavator, right? Versus you're not going to hire 1,000 people to come with shovels and dig your foundation. It just won't make any sense, right? Today, if you're going to be doing anything en masse, you're going to want to use AI for whatever tool you could use it for, whether that's coding, whether it's creating a document, or what probably most people use it for, which is drafting up an email for you.
I know.
So yeah, it's just a tool.
But drafting an email does come in handy.
It sure does.
Especially if your email is very terse or angry, and it's like, hey, let me clean that up for you because you really shouldn't hit send.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast about that one time. There was an episode where somebody talked about something similar.
There's something very cathartic about being able to write the email exactly the way that you want to write the email, with swear words and all, and just saying, okay, now can you please clean this up so I don't sound like a jerk?
Yeah. Can we make this more professional?
Yeah. It's just a whole slew of swears.
Guys. I've got an image to upkeep, so I go the other way. I don't know. I write it and I'm like, AI, come on. I can do better than this. Like I want to really piss somebody off. That's what I do. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one in the room that does this, but I do. So, all right. I said we're kind of. I got to go back and look. Freestyling. I always want to use a different word there. Apologize, guys. Anything else that's important going on in the world of technology that you feel we need to discuss today? And we're going to keep that relatively brief because we've rambled for 35 minutes, and we're going to kind of move to shut this down. But any final thoughts?
I'm at a blank.
I mean, really, the only final thoughts would be the basics still apply, even in a world moving as fast as AI.
Yeah.
And when your IT guy is talking to you about like, hey, we really need to put these securities in place, like, stop and listen. It's not just a guy or a person trying to spend your money. It's because he's sitting back and he's probably read these articles or thought about these things, going, "Holy shit! If we just don't if we don't do the basics, we're wide open." Right?
Yeah.
And
go back.
In case, so go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, I'll go back to my analogy with the backhoe. Just because you can use the backhoe doesn't mean you understand how you're supposed to dig the foundation and what level and how deep it has to go. You still need somebody with expertise to make sure that it's done correctly. Right? What's that?
Or where the fiber line is underground.
Yeah. So the same applies with AI. Yes, it could do a lot of stuff, and you could typically ask it, how do I use you and what can I do? But there's nothing better than asking somebody who has experience and say, listen, this is what I want to do. Can you help me make sure I implement it safely and that I'm not going to run into problems? And that's where we come in, right? We can come in and show like, okay, well, I understand the underlying architecture on how it's supposed to be set up. So let's make sure we set it up in a way that's safe and secure from the get-go without you having to learn all the lessons on your own on the way to make it happen.
And in case, guys, you forgot what the basics are, the foundational controls in cybersecurity.
A lot of webinars for that.
We got a website. What are you talking about, webinars?
The podcast.
Oh, those are episodes, not webinars. I mean, it's almost the same thing. You're right. What's the difference anymore between a podcast and a webinar? Basically nothing. Go to unhackmybusiness.com, create yourself an account, and start walking through it. It really isn't complicated.
Yep.
There's instructions on how to do it if you want to do it yourself, or if you want to have your somebody in-house do it and watch their work. It's all there. And if you run into a place where you need some help, of course, our contact information, you've got forms right there. Request help with this particular thing. Anyways, jump on there. The formula's there. The instructions are there. The accountability's there. The scorecard is there. The financial risk exposure is there.
That's a good one to look at.
Yeah.
That new scorecard.
Yeah. So jump on there, guys. And then also don't forget, if you can figure out what's different about my studio this week, go to this episode, go to contact the hosts, and let me know what it is. I'll send you $100. Guys, I am cooked. I don't know if you can tell, but I've been half asleep this whole time. And I thank you for doing most of the talking because, good Lord, I need to do like a whole podcast. And I don't mean an episode, but like a whole podcast about what I've been through over the last 2 weeks. But I'm not going to because. So let's go ahead and say our goodbyes, guys. If you have any final thoughts, key takeaways, and I know we already ran around the room and did that, but this is your last chance. Otherwise, just say goodbye. We'll wrap up. We'll come back with a guest next week. We're going to talk about cybersecurity, our education. Let's see if I can do that again. Security awareness training. There we go. And talk to a guy who's got kind of cracked the code on that one. That's good stuff. Josh, tell everybody goodbye. Brian, you're next. Then we're going to get the hell out of here.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And I'm Joshua Holloway with 7TI Technologies. And we're here to help you navigate those treacherous seas of artificial intelligence and how to find your way back home. So if you're looking for help, please feel free to hit me up. Take it away, Brian.
All right. Thank you very much again, Justin and Josh, for joining me on this wonderful podcast. My name is Bryan Lachapelle with B4 Networks. And if you are interested in having somebody help you in your journey to implementing technology, AI, automation, and do it safely and securely, reach out. We'll be happy to be your guide.
All right. And I am Justin Shelley. I'm the guy behind the scenes.